Sucker, you ain't nothing. You too ugly to represent us colored folks. These Africans think all of us ugly. You out, sucker.
I'ma slap Deontay Wilder all over the ring. I'ma eat him alive. What's he, 15 stone? It's mad. It's mad. I'll stand there like that. 15 stone. And if these fights come off, it's because of me. And if these fights don't come off, it's because of them.
Simple as that.
It's as simple as that.
Now that fight is over, you can start kind of, you and your team start looking forward to 2018. Saturday night we saw a very destructive performance from Deontay Wilder, if you want to label that in the same way, against Stiverne, someone who couldn't stop when he won the title. He blew him out in a round. First of all, were you impressed by Wilder's performance?
Yeah, phenomenal performance. Done what he had to do, get the job done, and then he looks forward to next year like myself.
Fight's over in a round. His first thought process is to suggest that you or Eddie Hearn or whoever is ducking, and he calls you out straight away, which you kind of probably expected him to say similar things after his win over Stiverne, did you?
Not necessarily, because ducking. You know me, I've been taking challenges since my 15th fight, in the sense that I fought for a world title in my 15th fight? I fought for a world title in my 15th or 16th fight, So that tells you where I'm at in terms of fighting people. Me and Dylan, it was a fight that he was calling me out, we got the fight cracking. Deontay Wilder wants to call me out, no problem. I've already had a meeting about that, but the difference between me and him is I don't just say what I say to please people, I mean what I say. So I don't do my negotiations in public. I don't do business in public. We had a meeting. I've said, so are there any offers that have came your way? Because Wilder seems to say that I'm ducking him, and that he's really interested in fighting me. And there's not been any offers to say, Anthony, look, we've got this venue free on this day. We've got this broadcaster and that broadcaster and this broadcaster interested in taking the fight. And these are the terms and conditions of the fight. I haven't had anything like that. So I said, no problem. So it seems to me that there's interest, but it's not a serious interest. So what we've decided to do is, Eddie's going to America, obviously, for the Danny Jacobs fight. And he's contacting the champions that are interested in fighting, and I'll have to kind of put my foot forward and start making the offers and trying to secure a fight with the likes of Deontay Wilder or Joseph Parker.
Do you feel like it's one-way traffic as in regards to offers, that they're kind of waiting for yourself and Eddie to make the right offer which suits them? Is that how you look at that?
I always, as I say, I won't give you just opinions. Like, in terms of facts, I just see it as like, they say for instance, Charles Martin bought the belt, or we bought the belt from Charles Martin. I feel like these champions, I could say, are willing to sell their belts, because if it's about value, we'll look at what their value is, and let's say we doubled what their value is to fight me. I don't see why they won't step up to the plate and challenge. But like you hear like Joseph Parker saying, oh, they offered 20% of the pot, and it's like, well, I'm not happy with that, I'm not fighting it for 20%. And it's like, well, are you trying to sell yourself to fight? Are you trying to sell your belt? So some people contradict what they're saying. So I do feel like people are now saying, well, we want to fight. And I'm saying, well, let me see the offer on what you're willing to put on the table and how we can negotiate and kind of organise this fight to happen. But I don't see it. So it's like, who are these people's managers and who are their promoters? Who do I talk to, to kind of find out what their offers are to make these fights happen? And that's what I'm interested in. If you can kind of match what I'm doing or beat what I'm doing, I have interest. If not, but if I can match or beat what you're doing, what's the hold up? What are you waiting for? So as I said, and I'll go back to what I said, is that, are they looking to sell themselves and sell their titles? And if that's not the case, sooner or later we'll have some word on what's happening, because Eddie's gone out to the States. I spoke with my managerial team of what my decisions will be, and I'm more than willing to fight. And as I said, I'm not in the business of avoiding or ducking anyone. As I said, like, just look at, to a lot of the boxing purists, they know I've been taking challenges from like early on in my career. Even as an amateur, they know that. And for the new faces of boxing who are coming in to watch the sport, look at their records of these fighters calling me out, and they'll see I've never been in the business of ducking anyone. And that's why I can talk freely to you about how I'm going to make moves about these challenges, because I'm not afraid of no one.
I'm assuming you're aware of the podcast conversation that happened last night on The Boxing Voice. Are you aware of this conversation? So, The Boxing Voice is a podcast in America that your promoter Eddie Hearn was on, Shelley Finkel was on, Deontay Wilder was on, and Tyson Fury came on it as well last night. So, just to give you the breakdown of it, it was around Shelley Finkel and Deontay Wilder believing that Eddie Hearn had said that the deal was offered to them with Dillian Whyte as you part of the package or vice versa.
The fight offered to them for Dillian Whyte is because Dillian Whyte is, I don't know where he's ranked, but he's ranked with the WBC and wants to fight Deontay Wilder. The same way a lot of people are calling me out, and I look at people seriously. And the difference is about what Dillian and Eddie did. They actually offered him a deal. They didn't say, Deontay, we want to fight you, now offer me a deal. No, they said, Deontay, we want to fight you, and this is what we're offering. But this ain't about like dangling carrots, like, you know. I'm taking it upon myself to sit down with my team, strategize what I'm going to do, the options, met Eddie, spoke to Eddie about what I want to do, and now Eddie's gone to America to talk about what we're going to do, and that's the process of how to make a fight. I don't need to say to Eddie, like, or in the meetings I've had, Dillian Whyte's name didn't come up once. Do you know where I'm coming from? So they're false accusations.
That's why Eddie Hearn's maintained all along that if you want to talk about Joshua, we'll talk about Joshua. If you want to talk about Dillian Whyte, we'll talk about Dillian Whyte. But it doesn't come as...
Then this is the issue that you're saying is, this is what Eddie Hearn said.
Yeah.
I've just told you what I said.
Yeah.
So I don't know why you're then referring to what Eddie Hearn just said. Do you know where I'm coming from? It doesn't make sense. I've just told you what my meetings were about.
Yeah.
And Dillian Whyte's name didn't come up once.
I'm just referring to what he was saying.
You don't have to. You're talking to
the
me.
Boxing
Do you know
Voice
what I'm saying?
night. That's all I'm doing.
So that's where I'm coming from. I just feel like you haven't got. If you're talking to me, you're talking to me. You haven't got to refer to what anyone's saying, because it's kind of, it can be seen as false. So Eddie listened to what Dillian was saying and said, I want to fight Deontay Wilder. Eddie then said, okay, this is the offer I'm going to make Deontay Wilder to fight you, as a promoter would do and a good manager would do. Deontay Wilder wasn't interested. So as I said, it's not the other way around in the terms of Dillian Whyte wants to fight Deontay Wilder. Deontay Wilder, what are you offering Dillian to fight? Deontay Wilder said, I ain't got nothing to offer this guy. But Eddie's and Dillian have strategized a way to formulate that type of money to offer Deontay Wilder to get that WBC belt on the line. It's not about Deontay Wilder. This is about the WBC belt. That's what Dillian wants. And I understand that. So that aside, I'm not aware of myself being involved in the deal with Dillian Whyte getting a fight for the WBC. Dillian Whyte's one of my rivals. He's not one of my business partners. So any business relations we have happen with fists, not in the negotiation room. So when it comes to myself competing with Deontay Wilder, this is a meeting I've had with my team today, and we've found a way to kind of make these things happen, because, as I said, Deontay Wilder has called me out after his fight, as you said, with Stiverne, which I didn't expect, because I haven't seen no contract or no offer in place. So now I've had to take it upon myself, you know, my time off, to kind of gather my team and make plans to travel to America to discuss negotiations so I can become undisputed heavyweight champion of the world. And that's the way business is done. Wilder, I think, will be next. And just for the sheer fact that I think his record proves that he has a powerful punch.
There's that big right hand. He catches Stiverne on the end of that big right hand. I want Joshua. Joshua, come and see me, baby.
Well, if
no
he
more
doesn't...
hiding, no more ducking, no more dodging, no more excuses. Let's make the fight happen. Let's see who's the best. I know I'm the best. Are you up for the test?
But his powerful punch doesn't come with an uppercut. It doesn't come with a peach left hook. It just comes with a straight right hand. So you eliminate one or two of his main weapons, and I think, you know, you kind of chip the tree down with Wilder. And I think he starts losing his confidence.
Do you read what's being said? Do you keep an eye on? I think Deontay Wilder said first of all he's named his belt Sophia.
Wow.
Which I'm not sure. Can you name a belt that you're not?
I don't know. It's maybe you name some men name their cars.
Yeah.
Some lonely men name their cars.
Just to clarify, you don't have any girls' names for your two belts.
No, I don't. I actually don't.
Maybe you should get on that, AJ.
Nah, I'm not joining that bandwagon. I'm not joining that bandwagon.
But in terms of you know, all the noise that's around at the moment, in your mind, is there a logical order to what should happen next year?
Yeah, in the terms of, as I said, I've worked with people who have achieved way more than me in the sport, and I was like, so they'd achieved a lot, they weren't champion anymore, and we came together, we put our egos aside and we came together to create fights. So how next year should work is, realistically, I'm still on my journey. Like, no one can dictate to me what I should be doing. You know, these guys aren't dictators of my career. This is how I should plan out my career how I want. But I hear some of, let's say, people from the enemy lines chirping up, and we're not afraid to go to war. So we come together and we sit down like men and we try and draw an agreement. And if the agreement isn't good enough or they're not happy with what they are offered, because remember, they're the ones that are declaring war, but telling me that they need to buy arms from me. They should be locked and loaded and telling me this is what we have to offer, but there's no offer from their side. So what I feel like is that we'll go to them, put an offer on the table, they start demanding this, that's not real, so it's like outbidding yourself. And we're back to square one. So next year should be as simple as this. If they're really interested in fighting, we'll look at where they're competing, where they want to compete, in terms of what they're generating, in terms of rematch clauses, who walks first, who walks second, profits and loss, triple what they could be earning financially, and then why wouldn't they take the opportunity to capture the heavyweight title? I don't understand. So it's as simple as that, I think. It's not, boxing isn't a complicated business when you're working with us especially, so I don't know why. As I said, we've worked with people.
It's become one, hasn't it, though?
Yeah, but that's what I say, we've worked with people before who could have had a massive ego, but they put that aside and we managed to put on a great show. And like Klitschko retired on that loss because he was happy with what he achieved that night. So I don't see why these guys can't follow suit and kind of realize that these guys aren't a headache to work with, we're good to work with, but they need to put their egos aside. I think Wilder, I know what I have to do with Wilder. Wilder, I'll knock Wilder out. Take a bit of time, but I'll definitely knock him out. Wilder, I'll knock him out with one shot. Not like I'll go in there and bang, but when I catch Wilder, I'll definitely knock him out.
The heavyweight boxing division, it feels like it's on the crest of a wave. Next year, you're going to try, I think, to become the unified, undisputed super heavyweight champion. Is this a landmark year, potentially, 2018, for heavyweight boxing?
No doubt, no doubt. And in the sense of, it's been 4 years in the making, and if we can kind of pinpoint it for 2018, I'm ready, because there's a lot of people talking, and we always say talk is cheap. So I'm listening to what the people want in the arena, I'm listening to what people want that I'm speaking to, and they're ready to see like who is the king of the heavyweight division to a certain degree. And I'm putting my throne up. I've done it since my 15th fight. You know, I challenged for the world title early on, so I'm always welcome to challenges, and 2018 will kind of mark another year of more challenges. So I'm embracing every opportunity that comes my way.
And that Floyd Mayweather, I guess he built part of his aura on that undefeated record. You're undefeated, Wilder's undefeated, Fury's undefeated.
Yeah.
How is that to some degree stopping these mega fights from getting made, or at least making them harder to make?
I don't think so, not in my opinion. I don't know anyone else's strategy, but for me, as I always say, is like, Mayweather's 1 in a trillion with that O.
And he's had tough times too, so it's not always been he's gone in there, beat up an opponent for 12 rounds, walked out with not a bruise on his face. The reality of boxing is that once you reach an elite level in any sport or any business, you're going to meet people that are going to give you stiff competition. And at heavyweights, even the greatest of all time, Muhammad Ali and Foreman's and Jack Johnson's and these guys, at some stage, they've taken a loss. But if you lose, it doesn't mean that's the end of you. It's how you come back from there. So I always say it like this. Most champions are 2-time heavyweight champion of the world, 3-time heavyweight champion of the world, because they've achieved, they've made a mistake, they've learned and come back better. And that's just the way of life, and that's the way in sport and business. So I read a lot of inspirational books, and you hear of businessmen making certain decisions that didn't work out for them at the time. But you can share your struggle because most people can relate to that. It's not always a success story. Do you know where I'm coming from? So in my opinion, losing my O will never hold me back from competition because I thrive off it, and it only makes you a better person in the long run.
Let's talk quickly about the future. Deontay Wilder, he's been very vocal, as have a few other people on social media. Is Deontay the fight you want in 2018?
Yeah, why not? It's as simple as that. And I've always done my business, you know, in the gym. I'll give them a little bit on social media and stuff like that. I've always handled my business in a negotiation room behind closed doors, and when things are done, I announce them. I'm not in the business of making promises that I can't fulfill. That's why I'm working on getting this fight done. I've actually taken it underneath my wing and my team's wing to make this fight happen. 2018, providing that Deontay Wilder is true to his word, you'll see this fight happen. It's simple business. We've worked with all-time greats like Klitschko. We've managed to defend this title 5 times, and it's simple business, but I hope people don't make it as awkward as they want it to be. If they're realistic about what they want, we can definitely make this fight happen.
Sucker, you ain't nothing. You too ugly to represent us colored folks. These Africans think all of us ugly. You out, sucker.